The Penguin has waddled in and now out of our lives over the past 2 months, and it's easily been one of the best shows of the year. From its engaging characters, incredible pacing, and its ability to draw you into the dark, ruthless, unforgiving criminal underworld of Gotham, it's been appointment viewing every Sunday for us. But perhaps the best thing The Penguin did was show us how successful a comic book superhero spin-off series could be when it has the audacity to take itself seriously. It's a far cry from the overly colorful, goofy, and light-hearted Marvel series whose soulless corpses are littered all over Disney+. And while the vastly different tones of those Marvel shows and The Penguin both fit the universes of their respective comic book brands, there's no question which approach makes for a better series. And we'll talk about what The Penguin did so well and how it was able to separate itself from its peers after we recap this season's story. So the spoilers are waddling this way. Picking up a week after the events of the Batman, the Penguin, Oz Cobb, sees the opportunity to take control of the now leaderless criminal underworld before him. After years of working his way up within the Falcone crime family, its patriarch, Carmine Falcone, lays dead, and his son, the next in line to take over their empire, is soon sent to sleep with the fishes by Cobb's hand. Those now in control of the family are not about to hand any keys over to the Penguin, however, who they've always derided as a duplicitous, untrustworthy oaf who's not cut out for the greater responsibilities of their enterprises. Further complicating Cobb's ambitions is the late Carmine's daughter Sofia Falcone's recent release from Arkham Asylum. Cobb betrayed Sofia back when he was but a lowly driver for the family, and her father framed her for the murder of several women and had her committed, as she was given the name of the Hangman. After years of drugging and brutal, twisted psychological and physical torture, the asylum broke her and turned her into the very villain she had been previously framed as. With her brother dead, Sofia assumes she'll be next in line, and unlike the others in the family, she knows the true depths of Oswald Cobb's ambitions and who he really is. Still, she believes that she can keep him in line, and the two work together for a time, developing distribution of a new drug called Bliss, based on one of the substances used on Sofia during her time in Arkham. True to his nature, though, the Penguin has been courting a rival crime family, the Maronis, intending to double-cross Sofia and take over the business himself. When things go south, however, as they are wont to do in the Gotham underworld, Oz betrays Sofia, but she survives and learns that not only was Oz working with the Maronis, but he also killed her brother. Now seeing that she can trust no one, and tired of her family trying to push her out, she gasses all of the Falcones, sparing only an underboss, Vidi, who she only keeps alive long enough for his eventual execution to stand as an example of her ruthlessness to the remaining Falcone soldiers. She tracks down Oz's mother and takes her hostage to bring the Penguin to his knees, and after Oz kills Salvatore Maroni, the head of the Maroni family, she bombs Oz's underground Bliss lab. The Penguin survives, but he's taken by Sofia's men and brought before the Hangman herself. Sofia brings up a dark secret from Oz and his mother's past to damage their relationship and take away that which is most important to the Penguin. It works, and Oz's mom stabs him, but somehow he's able to escape and take his mom with him. Once free, Oz talks a city councilman into going after Sofia after he frames the bombing and all the recent killings as her ruthless power play against the Maronis and the Falcones. And just when it looks like Sofia's gotten the upper hand, Oz turns the tables on her and takes her captive. Rather than kill her, however, he sets her up to be arrested. Oz has completed his ruthless takeover of the Gotham criminal underworld, but his mom, the one person he did it all for, has had a stroke and isn't able to witness him fulfilling his childhood promise to her. Then, just to remind us to be careful who we're rooting for, Oz kills Victor, the kid he's taken under his wing and someone who's become a loyal friend that's been there to save Oz's life on multiple occasions. Meanwhile, back in Arkham Asylum for a second go-around, Sofia is notified that she has a half-sister, presumably the Catwoman Selina Kyle. In the final scene, Oz visits his vegetable of a mom who he's put up in a penthouse, and he lives out some twisted Oedipuscian fantasy with his hooker girlfriend wearing his mother's dress, and the Batman symbol lights up the Gotham skyline. The first thing that I was happy to see in The Penguin was that it continued on with the tone and aesthetic that the Batman introduced. The show really nails that dark, gritty, seedy vision of the Gotham underworld that served the movie so well. And if that wasn't enough, the engaging characters immediately suck you into the story. There isn't a super deep roster of fleshed out characters in The Penguin, but the two characters at the forefront could carry the show on their own if they had to. Colin Farrell has earned nearly unending praise for how he's brought the Penguin to life. The actor is unrecognizable as the Penguin, but his performance has consistently been able to shine through all of those prosthetics. Saddled with obsessive, creepy mommy issues and years of the Falcone's mockery, Farrell's version of the Penguin is charismatic, complex, and even darkly comedic at times. But on a dime, he's able to seamlessly become menacing, motivated, serious, and brutal. It makes the character incredibly engrossing, and while there are no good guys to be found in the Penguin, you still end up rooting for this anti-hero. Until the end, at least, when he proves in brutal fashion that he can't let someone who knows his vulnerabilities live, no matter how indispensable they've been to him. Across from him, Cristin Milioti as Sofia Falcone was the true pleasant surprise for me in the Penguin. The actress masterfully portrayed this bubbling sense of insanity just beneath the surface, and when her feet were put to the fire, it boiled over. Episode 4 took us through her twisted, torturous time in Arkham Asylum, which turns her into the very Hangman she was framed to be. And she still bears the emotional and physical scars of her time there. She becomes ruthless when she realizes that she can't trust anyone, and everyone around her is an enemy in some form. She becomes a true Batman universe villain and slaughters her way to the top with only the Penguin standing in her path. And through all of it, she became wonderfully mad and unpredictable, and that just makes the character so much more interesting to watch. The whole season was incredibly well paced. Every episode but one featured some important, explosive, or defining event. And even when you didn't have those kind of events, the story was never boring, and the show keeps you engaged from start to finish. Every episode felt important. There isn't any filler to speak of. Although all that being said, I thought the finale could have been better. I thought that Oz got out of a few pickles a little too easily. And to me, it doesn't really make sense that the Penguin would deviate from his typically ruthless behavior and keep Sofia alive, but then kill Victor. I think both decisions make sense on their own, but when put together, it feels erratic. But maybe that's the point, that Oz can be calculating one minute and emotional the next. But above everything else, this is a serious story and a seriously dark show, and that's what sets it apart from all of the comparable shows we've seen over the years on the Marvel side of things. The story is even good enough to stand on its own outside the Batman universe if it had to. Toward that end, it used references and characters from the Batman universe sparingly, rather than having to lean on them simply to justify the show's existence or pack the show with fan service just to keep viewers interested or talking about it. And in that same vein, the story can stand entirely on its own. You don't have to have seen the Batman or even know what happened in the movie to get into this story. Lastly, isn't it funny how no one complains about a show with a female creator and showrunner and an intimidating female lead when it's done correctly? How odd. Viewership for The Penguin has been solid, with episodes getting just south of 2 million single-day viewers toward the end of the season, and the premiere episode tallying up 14 million viewers to date. The show's ratings have been extremely high, with the show finishing at a 92% from viewers on Rotten Tomatoes and an 8.1 on Metacritic. Personally, I'm giving The Penguin an 8.5, which makes it a great watch and means I think it's worth your time. I expected the show to be good, and I think it surpassed even those expectations. Even though The Penguin was billed as a miniseries, talks of a potential season 2 have cropped up after the success of the show. I'm always a bit cautious when it comes to wanting people to push shows out farther than they were initially envisioned to go, but if they can keep up this same quality across the board, I'd be a fool to not want to see more of The Penguin. What did you think about The Penguin? Did you think it was a refreshingly serious take on a comic book hero spin-off show? Do you think it's a good model to have a spin-off series tide us over in between the movies it ties into? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to HateWatchers for reviews of other current shows and movies. Thank you for taking over Gotham with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.